Hello and welcome to this third episode of my life for the last 2+ years, 2.5 years. And well, as I promised the last time, even though that had gone a couple of days before I got all this down and so on, I had to look into some legal issues due to in my country. There is a law if I do misinformation or direct information that isn't true, I can be punished with a fine of around $750 to $800 and up to 3 years in jail. To avoid any misunderstandings, what I'm saying is my own opinion. It's not what considered by countries as their opinions and their views on the case. What I'm reading out of these, I have no education that within the biologic or medicine area, so it's self-taught. I learned this while reading hundreds of articles that have been published within the last few years. So again, I can make mistakes. I know it. I'm not an expert due to the law. So what I'm saying is what I think it says, not what they mean it says. So again, just to get this in, I don't have a master or a doctor degree within medicine or biological things. So again, I'm doing this all out of the knowledge I have got within these couple of years, and also with some knowledge in how to read and write reports from social science studies I went to on the university, so and political science. So again, I should know how to read these and should know how to interpret them, and more or less it usually stands in the articles or the research how they did it due to do. They can explain how they did it, and people can put question mark if they find there's something wrong, and they more or less all use the same technique. So again, but let's dive into it. Today I will go through what the reason why the state meant that I shouldn't get compensation from PhD Dr. Med. I won't mention his name because he's an expert witness for the state in this case. Comes to that, let's look at the first case he put up. It was nothing to do with it. It was an auxiliary or what it's explained is that where you got the stick, the vaccination in the shoulder, it was there when it started deep vein thrombosis, I will call it, in the shoulder, or a vein thrombosis that either moved or just kept there and had to be removed. So lesser to very serious thrombosis that we are talking, or blood clot. Let's talk language we all understand. So again, and I'm sorry, as I started this, they just found out they had to drill holes in the wall in my neighbors, so I can't do nothing about it, and I have to do it today because I have appointments later this week. So, and I wanted it out. So again, this is describing that, well, the injection actually can give thrombosis if it puncture not the artery, the vein when they give the injection, and some in my country have got compensation for that. So again, it happens. So why he had to put that out, I don't know. Due to I don't know the questions that the state gave him to answer. I only know the answers, and I will go over them in the next video, the answers. So, and I will go back and see if I can show the actual paper. It's over 500 pages I got back from the state, because every time a new person had to review the case, you get the whole case journal put in again. As our state do, and this is not the only time I've experienced that, but it's another case. So again, here the first one is describable of, well, yeah, thrombosis can actually happen in the injection area, and go to be pulmonary thrombosis, or what it's called. So we take that a little later. Just the second one he shared was the EMA, the European Medical something I can't pronounce. So again, doesn't matter for the case, because it's just this is the guidelines for the vaccine, how it used, how it was made, blah 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 blah. We all know that, and if you don't, you can go and find it on EMA. I'm not going to go through that because it's 100 plus pages of description of the vaccines and how to use them right and so on. So let's jump to the next case. It's a Danish case on the front personal. There was a couple of things. As I said also in the former video, it's thrombosis in all I'm looking for, because that's my main focus. And at arterial, or ATE, is the most important for me. I have to scroll a little up. First, as you can see, it was 355,000 Danish frontline personnel that works in the social hospitals, elderly homes, and so on. And the age range was born between 1957 and 2005. Of those, there was around 110,000. Let's see if I can find it. It's longer up. It's not that important. 101,000 vaccine of the first dose of Pfizer. That's the one I'm interested in, but I will also take a look when we have it up, the AZ and the Moderna. So again, we scroll down. The event I'm most interested in is ATE, or arterial thrombosis, and they say there was 4 in all of the vaccines. Only 4 out of 355,000. And the cohort for the spread is almost similar between AZ and AstraZeneca and Pfizer. So again, less than 3 events of each, and death 0. And the fun part was they have none in the person years at all. Means that they take all the years and so on, and it says no. Again, we have on Pfizer, I think it was 44 to 45 years and 47 on AstraZeneca, the median number of the two groups. So again, it's young people. None passed. I think it was 57. Don't hang me up on that. I think I saw it in some of it. The majority is women, of course. It's in healthcare, so not to be, but usually more women take those jobs than men. So again, the thrombosis event, cerebral venous sinus thrombosis, that is a form of a stroke or thrombosis in your brain, at your brain. It's splanchnic, hard to pronounce, vein thrombosis. Also very low for both of them. Actually, both say there was no recorded. Here by Pfizer. Again, it's fun. And we have pulmonary embolism. That's a blood clot in the lungs. You can see 58.7, and the cohort in between 8 to 13,640. Again, it gives a rate of death here, sadly, at 1.32 per 100,000 vaccinated. We'll call that alot. Deep vein thrombosis have been some that they discussed a lot. It's more common. Again, high on Pfizer's first and second dose. They actually didn't split the two doses, but more or less it's compared on the first dose. Only some got the second. So again, should be pretty accurate. 95.3. I think that's a really high number. And the death ratio was 2.05. Again, little scary. Arterial thrombosis, even though they only have 4 in all the vaccines, AstraZeneca and Pfizer in all. You can see it's less than 3, so they can't calculate it in pures, sadly. But again, it's one of those I'm most interested in, because we're talking about 100,000 people. Less than 3 means that have been at least one event. And they don't say how the event is put out, if it was one and one with AstraZeneca, or 2 or 3, and opposite here, if it can be 1 to 3 events per 100,000 person years. I would have liked it more if they just made it out of 100,000 people, because 100,000 person years, it's a little weird, because with an average of 45, we're talking about a little lower. Let's calculate. I used to be good to calculate in my head, but right now it's 22,222. So it can be 1 out of 22,000 or 1 out of 11,000. least it's within my calculation of also what I found when I did the calculation of thrombosis event. Blood clot event for people. For Pfizer, it was around 1 to 13,600 here. Here it can be a little higher, a little lesser. It's hard to say due to I don't know the exact number. I'm scrolling a little more down because we have it again here. Celebrate that it within fiction. So again, positive result within 20 days of positive result test. So again, it says the event have occurred without a positive result for COVID for the most of them, but for arterial event they have had a positive test result within the area, and death less than 3 again. Again, it says some, but it doesn't really say anything. It's comparing the risk of serious adverse event, and already then they begin to find that I can't pronounce it now. Micro infection in the heart muscle. Easier to say it like that. So the results cannot be otherwise than saying we didn't find anything statistical in association with Pfizer vaccine and thrombotic odds from this means low blood plate event. So again, no. It's a good study, but again, it's a small portion of people. We have 100,000 people here. They really don't even did the number out, so you could see, okay, so many with this, so many with this. Again, jump to the next one. It's a little bigger study, if I remember right. Let's see. Yeah, it was adults, where 23 million was women out of the 39 million. I think it was 46. It was last study. Yeah, 46 million, where a little over half was women. But I first saw here was the representative of race groups, white people and white. So 0.7% or around 7% of 46.7% of 46 million is not very many. Or it's 700,000. I think it's 0.70%. 7%. So again, or maybe it's 700,000. 700,000 is not really represented to put me into this analysis due to the majority is mixed race or another race than Caucasian. So again, it's a little misleading from the state or the representatives of the expert from the state to actually use this as a proof. Due to I found another, I will go through them in a later period, that It's race based among the different race groups. If you're Asian, if you're Caucasian, if you're black, or from Middle East and so on, or Asian. Also, different areas of Asians have been seen have various numbers compared that there's more risk for some groups than for others. So again, minimum of white people in this cohort does that. I'm going to throw it out because it's not representable for Denmark, or for me at least, due to I'm white. So again, also they don't specify the events within the racial group. Don't take this as I'm a racist. I am not. Just it's how they made it. So the next one. Let's fast look over it. Migrated stroke embolism after BT and after Pfizer and Moderna vaccine people aged 75 years and older. I was 44. I have no idea why he showed this. We all know that there's a higher risk for elderly to get blood clots than for younger people. Usually they say one of the high risk group is actually the one I'm in, between 40 and 50. But if you're a hard smoker and don't get out and get your works out done and so on, again, doesn't have to be like that. It can be genetic too. And when I looked at the study in my countries from 2019, I used that numbers, and 2018's, it's more like, okay, well, we can look, yes, there's a high risk for elderly, but from my age and downward, there should only be around 1,000 events a year. And that's in all, and that it was higher for 2021 and 2020 due to COVID related. And I acknowledged in more or less every investigation, they show that the people that got COVID had a higher risk than people got vaccinated. That's why I don't talk against the vaccines, because you are low risk of that, of getting thrombosis and so on, other diseases of the vaccine than of the disease. All studies shows that more or less. There is a couple of areas where the vaccine have a little higher number than the actual COVID, but so this study was a doesn't matter study due to I'm not 75 or older. I was born in 76. It's so I don't know if that dude got it wrong, but again, until now we found one that could be taken as evidence, but have been disproven by newer science from this year that there actually was an elevated risk of pulmonary embolism and venous CTST or what it was of strokes, arterial blood clots in the brain. So again, let's take of the look how fast in this risk on and thrombolism after COVID-19 and SARS positive and positive. So I found this after increased risk of arterial thrombosis after BT&G mRNA vaccine was 0.16 once one within 21 days. I, I I actually needed to see this number because it was pretty pretty much something that said there had been a little high risk of 6% after. So, and that was at 15 to 21 days, and I'm in that period. So, well, it's something to talk for my case, but then again, they compared to SARS-CoV-2 infection or COVID-19, there was the risk at 2.02, so around 1% higher or the double. So what you can calculate out of that is, it was significant, but again, it wasn't really that much significant. And then they go in secondary analysis found increased risk of CVSD. Now CVSD, that's the arterial even fluids common blood I can't. It should stand here somewhere. But again, both states high risk from 15 to 21 days of both of these, and after SARS-CoV-2 test increased of strokes in the stomach or gastro. So again, arterial thrombosis event after COVID, blah 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 blah, and after positive SARS. So again, we're talking about that it had a little higher risk, but still lower than the newest and big with 99 million people. I think I showed it last time, where I pointed out that there was a high risk for CTSD, pulmonary thrombosis, and ischemic stroke. I can't pronounce that, but again. So again, it's important because it shows there have been a little more a higher number than expected or could have been expected, but again, it's so low. It's just 0.1 higher than 0.01 higher than it would just have been within this ordinary statistical range of the 95%. So again, it's just at the border. It's probably maybe 2 or 3, 4% more within that group out of the 100,000 people. So again, it's a low number. So the next one, let's see results. Oh yeah, this one I looked at too. It's a little less described study. I think it was the one from Israel, not sure. Let's go look. Yeah, the study of BT not associated with elevation risk of the most hypothesis event examined. So yeah, I think it was Israel, this one. But I'm not saying it was due to. So again, they tested some things out of the people, and Here they actually calculate of 100% and not 100,000 person hours. I like that because it makes more sense problem due to the others did just calculate some of the others just calculate on the other things. So let's see anything here that interests for me. We have the difference between pros and 100,000. They like to write that. They could have saved so much space if they just had written it once. So again, we have this. I have it's the injection. Probably. I'm not sure about what that means. It hasn't been within my research. So again, it's small numbers. Pin DCT's risk ratio 1.2, event per 100,000, blah 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 blah. And we have to go herpes. Well, it's pretty irritating to have that. I'm struggling with it myself at the moment, so I'm fully using severe to fight it fast. We all more or less have herpes in our body. So sometimes it never break out, and sometimes it breaks out. So again, doesn't matter. Let's see if there's some events with associated with certain risk of myocarditis. We know that's as myocarditis. I said it. Whoa! Oh, doesn't matter. Risk difference is 11% per 100,000. So again, it's combined with a risk ratio between the vaccines and people observed with COVID-19, and 11,000 or 11 events per 100,000 means probably 1 to 9,000. 9,000 and something, 9,050, then we are on the safe side. It's little higher, but between 9.5 and 10,000. 1 in a 10,000, then we are sure. And they have to write all again. Serious adverse event, including all these deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, myocarditis, and so on, was also looked at. They didn't share the results, but again, don't know why he chose to put this in. Maybe to make it look like he really did his work for his money, because experts usually are paid for their work when it's a PhD, and he shouldn't have got paid for this caca. Again, he just had to find some way to excuse that he had no knowledge within the area. So, severe adverse event after COVID-19 mRNA vaccination abstract, design exposes, outcome results. Let's see anything interesting that I can't remember. I looked a few more times, but stupid as I am, I didn't make notes, so I knew exactly where to go in and look at them. But we have the number in total, 11,845 doses of mRNA vaccines, against 57% Pfizer, and the rest was Moderna. And it's and they specify out that 5 million of those 5.6 million also received second dose and made it. So administration to 6.2 million individuals means 49 of age, so they might have got both doses, I'm not sure. Just a lesser got the second dose, so again I'm trying to focus on the first dose and little on the second, because we saw some events of the second dose. So the average age is 49 years, and the female representative was 54%, means that was again a little more females than males within this, and indicates of event per 1 million person years during the risk. So they hired the person years from 100,000 to 1 million years, maybe to try to see if they could get a little more strokes, a little more higher numbers. And it's a big cohort, so again, it makes sense compared to the one from adult. So again, they compare with vaccinated and non-vaccinated group. I think, let me fast read through, or is it the first and second dose? I'm not sure, but again, sorry, I'm lighting a couple of candles while I'm sitting here. I think this one it's just focusing on the risk comparison. Individual Islamic stroke was 1612 versus, so 1612 versus 1781. So I guess the last of them was the control group. Not really good described. So again, that was a little high ischemic stroke, means blood clot in the brain, or just a stroke. A number for the control group than the actually vaccinated group, means that it's just under 100%. So in case we should think the vaccine actually helped not creating those, and 1179 versus 1345 means that it was way lesser. The acute myocarditis, in fact, says, fun enough, that it's a little higher. Again, I can't get it to that if you take this number and divide it with this. I don't know what it's called in English. So, no vaccine outcome association meet the pre-specified requirements for signals in case of confirmed blah 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 blah. Not. Per million dose of Pfizer was 5.195 of a million doses of. So again, it doesn't talk of AT or arterial thrombosis events. It talks of, you can argue this is And myocarditis can be caused because an arterial thrombosis event, but they don't put it up like that. So again, myocardiac infarction, it's actually acute. This is the important one. This is the blood clot in the arterial that feeds the heart. And here the number was a little high again. So maybe that's why he chose, but it's not significant. It had to be over 0.5, or to be statistical significant, it had to be at 1.2. And statistical significant red flag, or what they call it, safety risk, it had to be at 1.5. Just to explain it out, I did 2 in the last video, if I remember right. As you can see, for this one it's higher, so there is a statistical safety risk for increased of confirmed anaphylaxis, anaphylaxis, I don't know what that is, but it's higher. So million of those, and 5.1, 95%, 3.3 to 6.7 of the million. So again, it's for the Pfizer. At least there they make the calculations. They didn't on the other, more or less. Just showed that, well, it was not within an area that, but again, I think in the conclusion they mentioned they have to study more in the future. So again, a little significant for my case, but still the numbers is pretty low. So we have this last one. I read it through also. I read so many through. So let's first jump into table 1 to see what do we work with here. We have acute this mind. I can't pronounce that. Acute myocardial infection, and yeah, there we have it again. Blood clots in the heart, or arterial heart. And including 30 were patient positive. So actually it was mentioned in this one. Let's close it down. So let's see if there's anything interesting they found in the outcome. Acute blah 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 blah. Guillain-Barré syndrome. I don't know why they have put that on Pfizer. There have been so, unless 0 ones, but at least they put it on. I don't know how rare it is, but again, AstraZeneca had way high numbers of that. Something I just follow when I read. And this is from the Food and Drug Administration, so it's a Department of Defense and Department of Veteran Affairs. So this is from the United States. They have this. So they was not in the big one, the big investigation that was published here not long ago. So let's read. They're talking about myocarditis. Pericarditis means infection in the heart muscle, and blood uh, blood clots in the lungs and in the brain. This one, I don't know why did keep take that up. That is high blood plates, and we have the venous thromboembolism against lower blood, lower higher. Oh no, venous thromboembolism. Yeah, I think that was the plating. So don't hit me up on that. I can't remember all. I've got so many names and numbers in my head. I should have written down notes, but the concern that again a concern for a kind of strokes, or I don't know what they call it. Venus is sanitary, but again, thrombosis with here we have it. Thrombosis with this is rare for. We saw that in last week's video where I saw the big that this is a rare syndrome compared to both Pfizer and Moderna. So again, I don't know why they keep focusing on that, other than if it's on the AstraZeneca, because they have found no evidence for there is the same events happening with the RNA and the adenovirus vaccines, the VID, because it's been shut down a long time ago. So again, blah 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 blah. See if I can find venous thromboembolism. That's a deep vein thrombosis. Nothing to do with me. Even through that, deep vein thrombosis could move from my leg, for example, and sit in my heart. It wasn't described as I had a deep vein thrombosis that had moved. So again, problem is that it happened after first dose, but and it was, if I remember right, did I close that? Yeah, I did. Sadly, was right. It was on 1.20 or 1.19. So no. For deep vein thrombosis, I'm not sure if it was in those statistics for the last. But again, I've read more that it have happened. But with the mRNA vaccines, it's not something that is, you can say, well, it's because low plating or high plating in the blood. That's why you got the thrombosis due to the vaccine. Vaccine interference in your veins. So, well, it's interesting reading this, but again, acute myocardial infarcts emergency trial 30 again. We have been over that. So let's see the statistical analysis. If there's some numbers, it's more like the 1 to 21 and 22 to 42 days. They are trying to see if there is a elevated significant risk up to 42 days, or the risk is higher before or after the 2 to 42 days. explaining how they got it, and description, results. Let's see. Group, they actually put the group age in the lower pretty, so at least they did those 1 and 2 of each. So we have Pfizer dose 1 and 2 in the first, Moderna, and for both. So let's see, even for Pfizer dose 1 and 2, pretty high. In here, not in the Moderna, means that they could claim it's safe to give to people under 18. Again, events, it was events per dose, vaccine dose to supplement population December, blah blah. Also, it was, yeah, I think it's the event. And we can see there was this event in all vaccinated, I think it is. Zones of population, 12 year plus number. So for this event there was 5.125 million. I rounded up. The 60% won't do any significant difference in this. So there was a higher wind risk in this group, or you can't say that because you have to calculate it out, because in when you halven it, you halven almost halven the events, and when you get older, more events shows than the norm. Then if you do the whole demography of the age range from 12 to 75, normally they say. So again, you can see there's amount higher wins on Pfizer than on Moderna, but also used more Pfizer than Moderna. And so again, makes sense. So Americans, 10,296 event after the first dose, and 9,000 event after the second dose. And you can see for both, I don't know why they want both total doses. Well, white non-Hispanic, well, as I claimed a little earlier, here we have the proof. Way more events for white people than multi and others. I don't know if you calculate this number down, it will show something that relies to this number and this number due to, I'm not that good to calculate in my head, but again, it will be over 100 too. So again, it's a hard unknown ratio, and was 1.1 million. Again, I think here they follow each other pretty well. Still, the majority, also we don't know what events they described and so on. So it's a little hard to go in and say, well, there was a higher risk if you was right, but they try to make it look, seems like that the risk ratio for ethnicity is around the same. Kawasaki disease, from Kawasaki disease, does it mean you want to go out and buy a Kawasaki Ninja? Well, I wanted to, but don't make fun of it. I don't have any idea what Kawasaki disease is, but could be one that want to buy a new Kawasaki Ninja 650 cubic motorbike. Nice one. I took my MC driver license on that, and here my ADHD comes in and say it's hard to follow a line you spread out. In weekly analysis, none of the outcome was signaling criteria of one-sided P. So it says it was for its level stroke, it wasn't really anything a red light or statistical significant, because it was 0.0048 incident per 100,000 analysts through June 26, increased rates of 100 it's per 100 person years, 1 million person years. Yeah, I saw that. Again, it's a little misleading, because 1 million person years in this instance would be around 20,000 people. I think the average age was 49. I'm not sure, I can't remember. So, risk of interval and adjusted RR for 45 versus 69. So it's 0.70. I didn't look up what R was, so not interesting. Disseminated intravascular coagulation, whatever. Coagulation. I have to look that up. That sounds interesting. What a fun name. No, it's not. Yeah, something I didn't look up was probably a shoot. DIC, what is blah blah blah? A rare but serious condition that causes abnormal blood clotting for the body blood vessels. May develop DIC if you have infection or injury that affects the body's normal blood clotting process. Okay, let's see what it points out there. We have the lungs, gastro, and brain. Not anymore. So it's cell-based. They never tested my clot. They just took it out and threw it in the garbage can. They didn't test out if there was any signs of interference. So again, it's hard to say. I can't. But again, it's 9 versus 6. It's higher. And it is in this significant alert, statistical significant risk area, because it's 2.6. It's 1% higher than it should be. From some Berkeley, maybe it was this number, so it wasn't significant higher. Sometimes they put a little something in front and something behind. I don't know what this is. Oh, I have to look that up too. Some new names, probably because I never read it. A rare life-threatening blood disorder, or blood, in TTP, the blood clots from in small blood vessels through the body, so deep vein thrombosis. Why don't they write that? So, the last one here, I actually misread. This one is interesting because it's deep vein thrombosis that had moved up to an organ and caused a blood clotting in the arteria. Again, it's interesting because they don't know why I got the blood clot. My veins looked pretty fine, even though they had to put a stent in due to it had been clotting. So again, it's interesting. Still, it's 9 versus 6. They compare the vaccines. So the most frequent outcome in 1 million personnel, the risk versus comparison, blah 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 blah. Stroke there was so many versus so many in the test group. So significant, yeah, but not significant enough. But we saw in a newer that actually this number would be 1.29, I think it was, for ischemic stroke. So again, interesting, nothing to do with me. And for I don't know what that is. Acute micro. This is the interesting part for me. That's a direct says blood clot in the heart, or arterial to the heart. So again, this is important. It says it's R1.02, so again a little higher, but not significant higher. A couple of people more than normal. Can be closed down 2020 and 2021. We didn't get out and move as much as we should have done, and so on. They can come with many excuses. You were a smoker, and we know, even through us with studies also, I will share later, that showed that smoking is that there was actually lower events in smoking groups than compared to non-smoking smokers within research. So again, this number is a little higher. More or less all studies were read till now, but one had a lower number. Again, this was a little higher. It was a little bigger cohort, so we have a very high number for venous thrombolism, means deep vein thrombosis, or blood clots in deep veins, means in the legs, and so on. That can go through and move and be a serious threat. So it was pretty high number. Again, I have other research that show that for arterial and venous thrombolism, it's around the same. Actually, arterial ATE was a little higher, but within that they took every ATE event in the calculation. So ballpark policy. Nothing interesting. So high risk estimates, let's see what they show down here. Risk interval of every million. So 7 to 10.6%. Oh. And that's of every million. Or I think the 10.6 was the expected within myocarditis had way higher. So 87 and up to venous thromboembolism had a way higher number, still calculated as 1.16. These two was put together. We know that it was 0.49 in the first dose from the big study as I showed, and the other was 0.29. So again, they got closer. The cohort was bigger, larger. So venous thromboembolism, still some events, and we talk about around 626 out of a million. I think it was, million person years. So again, it's significant. It's high numbers. Acute that was the one I was interested in. It was 1.02, 89 to 118.75, and 0.39. So there was a high risk. For 9, yeah. Let's see, that's p-values, two-sided, one-sided. Let's go signal-sided. And they say no. It has to be 1.2. Slash to 6.9 to 1.2 slash 6.9 to 8.3. So again, it was lower, but it wasn't over this number that's needed. Or 1.2 out of a million, maybe they calculated it too. So again, it's hard to say that it had a high risk, but let's go up to where we started. Don't want to. See if I can find microvenous acute myocardial infection. The problem is they calculated in person years, so let's see, pulmonary acute, it was here. 613 and 935.3. It doesn't make sense that they calculate it in people years. Should calculate it in people in all, because if there was 630 events within 1 million people years, and let's just say it was around the same as the last one, around 50 years of median of the group, then we have 200,000. No, 20,000 people. So the wind is 1.02 per 20. 1.2 per 20,000. Again, give us a ratio of 1 to 12,000. Could actually get a blood clot in the heart after this, if my calculations is right. That is how I understand it. It doesn't have to be right. Just how it look. So again, they say there's no significant statistical red light. So again, we have for pulmonary embolism or blood clots in the lungs, also pretty high number. Still, the significance is not there in this, but we know from earlier it was 1.2 after first dose. So this is 1.1. So again, lower belly palsy is ischemic stroke. That means a stroke in an artery that feed the brain. It was under the normal. Ischemic. I can't pronounce it. But again, it's under what was expected. So again, what can you say? The first number is the risk, and the second number is what was shown. Yeah, Guillain-Barré syndrome at 10, 15.1 and 6, and it's also lesser than 1. So no significant statistical there. And again, no one there. And Kawasaki disease, there was 2 in the control area, I think it was that. So again, nothing other than none went out on board. Kawasaki shouldn't make fun of it when you don't know what it is. I have to know what Kawasaki disease is. I know it have nothing to do with what I'm usually after, but I have to find out what it is. Let's see. Kawasaki disease is a very rare heart condition that causes a high fever and inflammation of the blood vessels. Oh, it doesn't sound nice. It usually affects the children under age of 5. Not many children under the age of 5 got the vaccine, so luckily. It's a common form acquired in non-present at birth. Heart disease in children development. So, well, not to make fun of when it is something that usually hits kids, but I didn't know what it was, and I'm sorry I made fun of. If anyone actually got this, I feel sorry for them. It sounds like it's not fun. So none of the 1 or 2 dose and the vaccine products analyzed meet the significant criteria of a one-sided P lower than 0.0048 table 3. During the days of 0 to 21 post-vaccine, there were a total of 34 cases of confirmed myocarditis and pericarditis among individuals between 12.39, it's actually also taken in as a side effect, a very rare side effect. Years of who 53% were aged 12 to 24. Pure dose people, 34 got ruined their life and probably still fighting for compensation. And were males, so mostly were males that got it. Median length stay 1 day, and nearly all were recovered, and so luckily most got out alive. Cases were significant clustered within to 5 days after the vaccination, so it was P was lesser than 0.001. Again, 0.01 when we had I forgot it. Oh, it doesn't matter. So again, little increased risk of myocarditis and pericarditis, and we already knew that. The person who is doing the risk versus comparison revealed adjustment R is 321 versus 35. That gave, wow, real high number. During days 0 to 7 after vaccination, so it was high risk within the first 7 days. So 6.3 additional cases per 1 million, or that will say around 1 out of 140,000. Well, in the statement from the Danish state, they said one out of 1.25 million. So again, different cohort, and a lot more in the one I went through last time. So, and this was 3.6 million doses. So again, let's look at table 2. Risk within the days, event risk interval, event mean periods, and comparison interval that will say non-vaccinated. So, and this was for those under 40. Really isn't significant for me, but as you can see, more or less the numbers. Only risk here after first dose and after second dose. That had been actually claimed that the second dose was little more, and again event in 21 days of comparison was lower than the numbers. And let's see, confirm, and that was for those, so you can see within first dose and the first 21 days, it was significantly higher for the event million person years, and both again we saw that in so I won't go confirm and prophylaxis cases after. So again they took out this and went deeper through the studies. Let's go to the conclusion if they have one. The internal analysis of surveillance of mRNA COVID-19 vaccines indicated of a selected series outcome was not significantly higher than 1 to 21 day post-vaccine compared with 22 and 2. So as they say, there was no significance between 1 to 21 days and 22 to 42 days. Other than maybe a little less of wind, but compared to the cohort, they try to say this is a way you can do that it won't interfere. So again, they look at myocarditis and pericarditis for compared. That was a high risk and so on, and reference and so on. So again, they said there was a little high risk for the blood clot I had, and more or less for some of the blood clots. But again, they keep the numbers within the significant statistical 1.2. So again, they can't say, well, you get blood clot, but what I can use this for example, is I know that you can't really compare studies like this over. So let's see if I can find the significant paper where it said the clotting difference. It's here. We have the wasn't it this one? Cerebrovascular incidents, deep brain thrombosis. I'm sure I saw that in this paper. Cerebrovascular, yeah, it was here. Now I can't find it, but we saw numbers. It was when you looked at this. We had the deep brain influence habits, infection, also blah blah blah. Wasn't it this one? Or was it the last one we went through? Oh, we have evidence according to SARS-CoV vaccination, pulmonary embolism was very low. So now I can find that number I showed before, where it was 1.2. Of course I can't. But again, as it showed, it's the wrong one I'm looking at. Might be therefore, because that one I looked at, it had a very lower number. So risk 21 days. It was this one, yeah. With the here, it actually shows that it was significantly higher. myocarditis thrombosis, myocarditis, pericarditis, immune, blah blah blah. Acute, it was here 1.2, and pulmonary embolism 1.1, and we had the ischemic. We had the so just out of that, these two, I would say you can compare to the newer research, even through the numbers significantly lower. But we know pulmonary embolism had around 1.39 on the newer, so I would say this one would be up there too, maybe a little higher. But they didn't do AT for coronary arterial thrombosis. They just call it this instead. So if they had done it, I would be sure that this number would have had at least a 2, maybe a 3. So it would be 1.25 at least, maybe 1.3, compared to pulmonary, that was the arterial that put blood through the lungs to send it back with oxygen. So but I then let's see, cerebral sinus thrombosis. Oh yeah, it was higher. So the third one didn't even have this was ordinary strokes. It was arterial stroke. It was little lower. Again, still close to stroke. Heron was also a little lower. Again, thrombosis with some. I don't know why they had to calculate it, because it's not shown. I said that before. So again, what I say, some 2 arterial events appear to be around the same, and also shown in the former studies that VEAN and BT and AT was significant the same within 2 to 6 days compared to AZ, and 2 to 4 days compared to Moderna. So again, really significant, because the numbers don't lie. But I can't say that just because this showed these numbers so close, and some of the other studies have showed the number was under point P is higher than the number, well, or the number lower than P, well, then that does just show that larger studies just give more precise results. What I think they should do, to be honest, is do the study in age group with interval of 10 years, so lower than 20 and 21, lower than to 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, see if there have been higher risk within the dose group for first and second dose, for every blood clots reported, and as we also can say for sure, not everyone was reported. More or less, every of these articles is talks about a lower importance of events than shown. And as I also said in the first video, wouldn't have been reported if I haven't sent it into evaluation for compensation. And that was my insurance company that said I should actually try that because it could be vaccine related and it doesn't hurt to try. And sadly or luckily I did, because I got a ton of knowledge within this area that one with ADHD loves to gain. We love to get more knowledge and get occupied. Just concentrate on one thing, only one thing. Even though I usually listen to other books when I read these. Also, that double distraction to keep me focused. Even though I eat my pill, and should say just a conflict of interest due to all this. I first got on medication for ADHD in 2023, so have nothing to do with blood clots. And other medicines I first was started up after blood clots. The only thing I actually got was D3 35 milligrams of vitamin because I had one number that was a little lower of my digestions to make that right. So again, I didn't take any form of medicines within a period up to the blood clot. I actually had a health check at my doctor a couple of times up to I got my first injection of Pfizer. So compared to that, I know, let's see if I can jump in and the research. Oh yeah. Wrong one I clicked on. It was this one. UFO spotted by NASA. Not true. It's from the landing from yesterday where the Danish pilot came down after half year in the space. So well, let's go up. I have to cover that name. So again, the last of these they showed, as you can see here, I have come on, stop. I want to go a little up. F11, thank you. I can go a little up with F11. So we take it down again. Then we just have to scroll a little. I don't care if his name is on the screen. Don't call him. Don't take contact with him. So, all this was shown. This one I didn't bring forward. That was the second PDF file from EMA that talks about the vaccine, how to use it right, and so on. A big bunch of that. The sense it's in Danish. I will try to translate it. Forebyggelse. It's how you can try to minimize risk of cardiovascular diseases like blood clots. And he shared this because of smoking. Due to, at that time I smoked, I think it was around 1 pack of cigarettes a day. Not the Magnum pack, but 15 to 20 cigarettes a day. but I stopped. The same night as I went to the hospital, I stopped smoking because all the nurses and all the doctors said, "Oh, you're smoking. We can help you. We can give you some tablets. We can give you plaster with the nicotine, and hope you stop smoking, because otherwise we will see you here within 10 years again." The real scare campaign, and of course, I wanted to stop smoke. I actually did some hypnotic smoking events up to more or less had stopped smoking for days at a time before the event came. We have this one. It's in English, luckily. If you want to read it, give me a link. It doesn't really matter, because it's one of my other diagnoses. I have a bipolar, and what it's called, massive multiple causes of death among patients with personal disorder. I don't have a personal disorder. With a COVID psychiatric disorder, he got that out of. I had a at that time they didn't know that it was ADHD I had. I was diagnosed in 2010 with a schizotypy personal disorder, or psychiatric disorder, call it what you want. But it had been removed from my paper now due to I have ADHD. And it was a wrong diagnosis I got then, and I have the right one now, and I get medicine. I get some kind of medicine, so I'm not that hyperactive and not have so many jumps to the side, even though I still have none. But again, they're talking about my bipolar disorder. No, it's not bipolar. What it's called? Again, this is irrelevant for my case. I don't know why they asked that question into this, because it's have no relevance for I get a blood clot within 15 days after my first injection. Like they have to find an excuse or a way to say, well, it's can be this. We think more it's because you smoke for 25 years. Yeah, it's high the risk for blood clots. But again, the two other I haven't shared yet. Now begin mixed things in. I will actually prove wrong that smoking within this area actually can have any form for relevance. And I have it downloaded or laying on the net linked, so it's easy to get up for the next video. Again, something with personal disorder. In the 12 and in the 13 was cardiovascular disease, relation in substance use disorder, substance use disorder, drug, alcohol. Yeah, right. I haven't done drugs since 2004. In the period 2004-2006, I think they put in because in 2006 I got methadone, so and I wasn't a regular drug user. I used it probably 5 times a month or something like that. So this has really no relevance. It's We had 2022, so I haven't touched drugs at that time for 16 years, including methadone. So again, it's not relevant to take drug and alcohol. Drinking, I really don't do much. Probably drink a beer a month max over the year, and that's can be calculated that sometimes I get 2 or 3 beers and some months I get none. So are relevant for the investigation. So again, the last 4 he put up isn't really relevant, and a couple of those up here, I think over half, wasn't directly relevant to my case due to it talked about everything else. So let's see. I will go this through the doctor's evaluation fast next time, but just cliffhanger. Patient due to I don't know why he's right below. Oh, it's for question number 1. It's borderline, it's called. I have a medium to high borderline. And yes, this can describe why I easier get angry. And compared with my ADHD, it's really a good mix. He could have put in that 1 out of 3 that have ADHD and borderline have a high risk of cardiovascular disease. It's actually proven. He could have put that in. It would have been relevant, but he didn't know about the ADHD at that time. So they just describe and it was only in this period I had an abuse of drug. So again, and it was not every day I did it. So again, it's misleading. As he said, he can't go into this, even though he did with the sharing. I take it now. It won't take many minutes. So at question 2, I don't know the question. On the known material, it's not possible to evaluate COVID-19 vaccines was given correctly. As you know, already done some investigation of the vaccines. If it had been refrozen 1 time or 2 times, it would go in and interfere with the spike protein. Also, if it had been not been used within 20 to 35 in 20 minutes, and high risk after 35 minutes after it had been taken out of the cooler. From taking out the cooler in room temperature and until it was used, there was a high risk of this spike protein to open and react as a normal spike protein and not as the but alone on the vaccine that was given, the patient observed he say of what he's seeing wasn't caused by the blood clot in the heart, wasn't caused by the injection, means the area where the needle was put into my shoulder, as he also shown in his first. Probably he shared the first one just to explain the reason why he can say that the blood clot couldn't come from that. Meaning that it punctured a brain, because there was no indication of that in a combination with the injection and the blood will be hard. I don't know how to translate it, but I don't know that a blood clot could be created local. And I haven't said anything about that. I don't know why he got a question like that. But well, as we say, he can't say that, but that was no signs on my shoulder that I had an infection after in the shoulder, or any signs of it was the needle that caused the blood clot. And I can only agree on that. Question number 3, I don't know. Oh well, at least he say that genetic he can he directly says it can be gene related. But he can't. He says gene related. He with an 50% plus insurance is the vaccine that caused it. Really, he can't say it with under either. So again. And he backed this up with that blood clots in the heart is not a known to be associated with the vaccine due to the product resume. Well, it actually was, but they just chose to overlook it and put it on the have to be researched. So he announced the research from many countries. With all in all 18.7 million vaccinated, not found a high risk of blood clot in the heart. Well, more of them just really look at blood clots in the heart. Some of them is not even for a person group, my person group. And he directly claims that vaccination of conspiracy Pfizer 3 to 9. I read all of them, and more of them was misleading or misguidance. So has to claim that due to I was smoking around 25, they also put a little high number in, is a known risk factor of blood clots. As I said again, that was the number 10, like drug abuse and personal disturbance also is a known risk. So again, I don't know why they're asking me question number 3, because he should just see if he could find, is there any relevance to blood clots and the vaccine, not to try to explain why he thinks there's another reason in my mind, because the smoking I can throw out the window. I actually could write a nice letter to the police and say, well, due to the laws in Denmark, paragraph 147 to 157, I think, he broke one or more of them due to he mislead, he didn't really share relevant information, meaning he showed some laziness forward this, and with that he can get up to 6 months of prison and a fine of, I think it was 500 Danish kroners or $80. It's not much, or was it 3,000? It was less, 3,000. That's around $450. Of my calculation at that time. So let's see. He says that he still doesn't mean my genes and the vaccination. Oh well. And healthcare check at own doctor does not include an arterial investigation. No, it doesn't. Only if the blood shows that there's something definitely wrong, they would start going deeper into finding out what could have caused it. Again, so again, he also said the reason why he said that it's plausible that the patient of the health investigation, or what to call it, health check at own doctor was normal. Of course it was. There was no indication why they should do other tests or give me an ETT or EKT, depends on what country you live in. The risk of 1 to 70,000 is probably to thrombosis with thrombocytopenia. Yeah, he also said some of those. Within it means AstraZeneca, as he also said, or Vaccinica as it's called now, because they changed the name after they got little bad press. As said in question 3, not a high risk of blood clots in the heart of Pfizer. So again, well, I can give him right with the material he shared. Actually, not really, because a couple of them actually showed there was a little higher risk of those that was really important, with a bigger cohort compared to some of the first where they only investigated the first 3 months. So Well, he's right, but he's also wrong. If he had read it right, I just read the numbers, and it says 1.02 and the other says 1.06. Of course, it's not significant enough to say that that is a statistical risk, but again, when numbers go a little up and we talk about X more person per 100,000, yes, it could be because they close down and so on. But again, heating in an average zone of 1 to X days, actually it's 2 to X days, normally they say, because they usually don't calculate the first days. I think there have been 1 or 2 events in all I've seen that have hit within the first day of vaccination. Usually the high risk area is between 12 and 21 days of the most studies I've read, and they actually did calculate within a day period. So yeah, this got to be a long video. Hope I taught you something. And remember again, I will say it again, I'm not a specialist. There's some stuff I don't know about, and I'm only looking at thrombosis events. Usually, even if I take little other in, also due to that's what I know about, and that's within the area. I maybe got a vaccine damage. I can't say I got it because it can't be a coincidence, even through if you do the calculation. Get a blood clots within 28 or 42 days after first jab. I would say 21 days, or between 12 and 21 days after the first jab, and a jab, what we call it in Denmark, but vaccine, compared to we have so little area, 12 to 21, it's 9 days, so within in that area of significance, where I've seen also other studies that show that that's a high risk area after first jab for blood clotting. The first week a little lower, second and third week higher, fourth week lower again, and fifth and sixth week and 7, because they calculated up to 42 days, it goes down again. So again, the risk goes up and down, and for the second jab, the risk areas usually started after 14 days, because they calculated that the vaccine really first started working after 14 days of second jab. Also, why you see it goes down, because it's not a so big shock to the body that it suddenly have to start do a ton of antigens, as the mRNA asks the body to do. But yes, he's right in his conclusion, but he used it on the background where he also started explaining. There is a couple of doses here that have no significant relevance for my case, and well, due to that, it's just filled up to look like he took it more serious. I'm not sure how serious he have taken it. At least he have found 10 when I looked at some of the first ones here. Not the second one, but first and no 3, 4. And I actually got the links to the other ones down under. So again, I don't know if he just copy pasted the links in, didn't really look all the studies through, just saw, well, it's within this area, so I just copy pasted it, even through some is relevant and some is not. But again, it gives significance that from start finds from Denmark with Anders Wied, that is chief analyst in SSE, that is this same as CDC in USA. Not the same, but can be compared. Those that keep an eye on vaccines, vaccines, and so on, and what risk of diseases that will come to our area of the world within the next season, and so on. So again, he's chief analyst and some of his team. And what I saw when I read through, well, it's just those was laid under as if you want to read more within this area, you can click on this suggestions. So, well, I went more through. Some have relevance, some don't have relevance, some have a little too little cohort to do a meaningful investigation, like we could see on that it all, but within some areas, because it was around 110,000 around 110,000 vaccines with Pfizer that was in the investigation groups. So it was so low number that it didn't make any significant outcome due to very rare serious adverse events, as you saw on the sinus thrombosis and pulmonary thrombosis. Means thrombosis in the brain and in the lungs, where they couldn't evaluate on that because due to peers it was too low numbers. Peers is persons hours, P equals 100,000 in that study. So the numbers was too low they could evaluate on it. So thank you for watching. It was a pretty long video, really long. So I hope you got a little more into my situation of what I'm fighting against. I'm fighting against the state that don't really want to recognize that the event have happened. Actually, I promised also I would go my vaccine batches through. Sadly, I only have the Swedish of them. Sadly, the Swedish number. So this is the Swedish numbers, and those are around 400,000 doses event. And you can see the batch number and the thrombosis event, all that will say overall events out of around 400,000 vaccines for Pfizer. I looked all this up myself out of the Swedish batch that another Danish group that made a bachelor project over excess death. I know one of the I think it's Dr. John Campbell talked about excess death and had this investigation and had Vibeke in the studio to talk about the excess death. Anders Wied made an research also within this area and said there's no signs of existence compared to Pfizer vaccine. Pfizer vaccine, same time, they split it up in 3 areas of vaccination groups due to events. I can go through it one day if you want to listen to it. I can show you the study. It's really nice study, good, and also shows and prove a little that due to in March, April, they changed the way they did the vaccines. Actually, they didn't follow the direct way from Pfizer to do it. Pull 32 up, change needle, and push the air out, so that would be around 30 milliliters, and they just pulled it up in the tube, I think it's called. I don't know what it's called. Pulled it up, didn't change the needle, emptied it out for air. So from around May, I think it was, we only got 28 milliliters instead of 30 milliliters of the vaccine, because they calculated doing that way, they could get an extra dose. So instead of 5, maybe 6, as Pfizer described they should do, you actually could get 7 doses out of batch, out of a glass from that batch. So again, high risk of the lower end of the vaccine could be, or the last dose, the 7, could be intoxicated by a higher number of DNA that also was found in those, and so on. Something that really could go in and destroy your system, give blood clots, give myocarditis and pericarditis. So again, they didn't follow the rules, and actually got an extra vaccine seen out of a glass then was maybe questionable, but I don't know. Even through also saw a decrease in numbers from that area. I got the numbers, the Danish batch numbers, but I can't find it where I put it. So sadly, I can't go in and do the same of the Danish batches. Other than I get them to send it again, and it will take months before I get it again, probably. So we have to look at the Swedish, but in the Danish, the number was around high numbers in the start, and when we got to batch low E and Fs, it reduced. As you also can see here, there's a couple of high numbers here. Remember, this is from Sweden, it's not from Denmark, where there was a high number of total events in the start, and lower in the middle could also be caused the demographic. But again, when you look at the front personnel they had taken out, it was around the first couple of million doses that went to the elderly and so on. So the age different would be probably around 65 of a median of the age group. So well, a little higher, but again it was high in the start and got lower to second dose, and where there was almost none second and third dose, where the reported incidence was way lower. and the files are also at that time between E and F changed a little, so that it didn't have to be held at minus 65 degrees Celsius, I think it was, around that number, but could be held at around minus 20. Easier to transport and easier to maintain. And they got it, they changed in it, they got it tested, and well, if you look at that, for getting approval to still use it as an experimental vaccine in 2021, I will pull that up to at some point and show that was actually 89 out of the test group for that change that got a thrombosis. But again, this video is past 2 hours, so I will say thank you for watching. If you watched it all the way through, and remember again, I'm no expert. I can't be considered as an expert within this area due to I don't have a doctor degree or a master degree within the area. So what I say is how I read it, how I find the information, how I interpret the informations due to what I read and find significant for the different things, the different articles that have been shared within, for example, PubMed, and can't be used as evidence at all, other than if you got an expert with expert knowledge and education within that area to verify the information that it is like that. So thank you again for watching. Hope you like and subscribe. If you don't like, subscribe anyway. And if you think it was too long, I will try to keep it shorter next time. But it is 2.5 years of my life I've lived in trying to prove that that the Pfizer vaccine and thrombosis event actually is significant and haven't. But as long as the state won't recognize it, they haven't recognized. My state haven't recognized that thrombosis event for sinus thrombosis and blood clots in the lungs and in the stomach, even though it was in the red area, haven't acknowledged that it was a vaccine induced vaccine induced damage to the person. I think it's vaccine injury. Let's say it like that in the future. But let's see. New studies can come. They already have something to work out from. They have all the numbers. They just have to put it in and write new research within the areas. It's pretty easy for them now to research first and second, third and fourth dose, for example, again on coronary arterial events and other events that could have happened, maybe could be in comparison to the COVID vaccines, for example AT and VT, that is some discussed areas earlier, they could take up. Now I'm not only talking deep vein thrombosis, but all vein thrombosis. So again, they could easily investigate those now. They have all the number placed in computers, so it should be easy for them forward to make big studies within those areas. Thank you and have a nice day.